and the negative effects of treat training, which causes your dog to develop bad behaviors and health issues. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notified about our next video.
Hello dog lover, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. Welcome to another live session. Hope you're doing well, hope everything is going well, and hope your dog is having fun and is doing well as well. If it's not, don't worry, I'm here to help you. Let me know your dog related questions in the chat area and I'm going to answer them in a moment. Today in this live show, I'm going to talk about socialization, how to socialize your puppy, how to socialize your dog, the benefits of socializing, what is socialization, all about socialization. We're going to talk about a little bit more in depth of all these content that I've been focused on in the past few live sessions. So in the past live session, we talked about exercise, and then we talked about social training, and then today we're talking about socialization. If you're new here, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. And if you're a repeat viewer, thank you for being here and thank you for coming back. And if you are wondering how are you supposed to understand or learn how to train dogs without the use of treats or force or domination or being alpha or using aversive tools or even treats or food, you're in the right place. And in this channel, we talk about exactly how to train your dog without them and how to use play and praise to reward your dog. And you get a lot of benefits in that when you use play and praise to reward your dog. Now, also, if you're wondering how can you learn when I go live next time or when do I post my next video, all you have to do is there's a button somewhere around here. You have to press that button. Let me see, somewhere around here, there's a button that says subscribe. Click on that button and then turn on the notification to all. So in that case, every time I go live or every time I post a new video, you're going to be notified. So let's talk about socialization today. We're going to figure out how do you socialize your puppy or your dog. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, that's not the screen that I want to share, but let's get started with that first. Which one is it? Okay.
In my future videos. The reality is that as soon as we bring our puppy home, we have to continue on socializing them as much as we can. Most dog breeders have already started the socialization process, and when you bring your puppy home, you just have to continue on and follow up on socialization process. With puppies, the way you socialize them, it's the way I call controlled socialization. What that means is you have to make sure that the environment, the dogs, all the individuals, all the people, all the stuff that is around and your puppy is being exposed to is safe and secure for your puppy. Socialization is basically exposing your dog to everything and anything that you can think of. So the dogs that your puppy is going to be introduced, for example, you have to make sure that they are okay with puppies. Puppy energy is different, and those dogs, they need to be comfortable and relaxed around your puppy so they won't harm your puppy. I also suggest in the first few weeks or the first few months that you have brought your puppy home, don't take your puppy to a dog park, but try to introduce your puppy being around puppies. Also suggest to introduce your puppy to the same size puppies or smaller dogs, and then gradually start introducing larger and older dogs. Ask other dog owners if their dog is comfortable being around puppies, and let them let you know if that's the case. Most dog owners, they know their dog, and they can warn you before you expose your puppy to those new dogs. Most adult dogs, they don't have a patience for puppies. puppies are in general annoying for adult dogs. Just be aware of that. Don't force your puppy to meet other dogs or even people. Let your puppy decide whether it wants to approach that dog or person. But try to expose your puppy to all kinds of people, all kinds of dogs, and if possible, all kinds of animals at young age. If you feel that your puppy is ignoring dogs and people and everything else, then that's a sign that your puppy needs your help to overcome that hurdle of being comfortable to approach others. So you need to kind of get involved and be more in control of socializing your puppy. If you have another dog at your home, take the time to introduce your puppy to the current dog that you have. It's okay for the first few weeks if they ignore each other, especially your current dog might ignore the puppy, might even react differently with your puppy. But take the time, let them figure it out, give it a time, a week, 2 weeks, or even a month, until they feel comfortable to be around each other and accept the fact that they are living together now. If you're going to take your puppy to a dog park, make sure the dog park is fully fenced and your dog is either off leash or attached to a long leash, and the dogs or the puppies who are in the park are safe around your puppy. Let your dog get involved and get exposed to other dogs and other puppies and people, and let them play. Let your puppy to play with other dogs. It's the best thing that a puppy can experience when involved with other dogs, the play. And the last thing is, don't forget that your puppy, because it's young, needs very short periods of playtime. So make it short, make it pleasant, make it fun, and let your dog to enjoy those introductions that it has to other dogs, and it plays and it's having a fun time, and then leave the park. There's nothing wrong with leaving the park after 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Don't go for a long playtime sessions in the dog park either. Not more than 20 minutes. If you
Okay, so hopefully you got something out of that video. I know that we had some audio problem. I'm still learning this system. Hopefully it was okay at the end. I think I figured it out. When I play a video, I have to mute myself. I think that's the thing. That's the key. So let's talk about first the socialization and the importance of socialization. Let me share my screen now, and we'll continue with that. So, as you know, my formula for training a dog, having a good dog, having a well-behaved dog, is to have all your dog's needs met. You have to provide your dog's daily essential needs provided in order for your dog to be healthy, happy, well-behaved, right? And those 5 things are on daily basis: exercise, training, socialization, care, and then affection. It has to be provided in this order. If you do it differently, you will get different results. But if you do it in this order, exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection, you will get better results. So what I mean by that is, if you're getting up in the morning with your dog, the first thing that you need to do is take your dog for an exercise instead of sharing affection. I know most of you love your dogs. Probably all of you, including me, love your dog, and you want to do everything for your dog. And the first thing that you do is get up in the morning and you say, "Good morning, sweetie pie. You're so cute. Oh my goodness, I love you, I love you." And you start sharing affection with your dog, ignoring all other needs of your dog. When your dog gets up in the morning, the first thing that it needs is exercise. Exercise is a mental stimulation that your dog needs first thing in the morning and throughout the day, right? And these things have to be provided throughout the day. These 5 essential needs to be provided throughout the day, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And if you provide them, you will get a better result. And the first thing that a dog needs is exercise. It's not affection, it's exercise. And then it's training, and then it's socialization, and then care and affection. I have talked about exercise and training so far in the previous live videos. And today we're talking about socialization. So socialization is something that you have to focus on between, especially if you have a puppy, between the ages of 3 weeks and 14 weeks for puppies. You will have, your dog goes through this sensitive period that we call it the fear cycle. Now, different dog trainers, different professionals, they will call it differently. They will call it a period that is the dog is sensitive. I like to call it fear cycle. This is the period that your dog or your puppy is very sensitive. And this is the age that it's also impressible. What that means is you can input, if they are taking information 100%, verbally, visually, with the nose, with the eyes, with the ears, they're taking information all the time. But the problem is that all these senses are not still fully developed. And what happens is, because they're not fully developed yet, but they are taking in information, they're very sensitive. They feel if you do something or if they experience something, it either becomes a big deal or no deal, right? No big deal. But if it becomes a big deal, you want it to be a positive experience, so it becomes a big deal for them. You don't want it to be a negative experience, so it becomes a big deal for them as a negative experience. You want them to experience good experiences during those periods, and during those periods, between the basically 3 weeks of age and 4 months. Just think about it that way. You need to be aware of this and be careful how you're socializing your puppy, because it's very important to be careful in a way that you're not freaking out your dog, or you're not making it to learn bad behaviors either. So a recent study, let me make it bigger a little bit for you. A recent study conducted at University of California Davis School of Veterinary Medicine sheds new light on the controversial question of whether it is better to isolate puppies until they are fully immunized, or enroll them in a puppy class to ensure they become well socialized. So one of the things that people are afraid of or not aware of is that they say, my puppy is just too young. I'm afraid to socialize it with other dogs and take it here and there, because the vets usually say that you shouldn't be doing that because they are not fully vaccinated yet. But one thing that I want you to understand also is, first of all, your puppy is born fully immunized by mother. The mother has already given all the immunization that this puppy needs for the next few months until it's on the solid food, at least. It's or even little bit later than that. It's it's fully immunized. So you don't have to worry about the risks. Because what happens, again, because the puppy is in that special, sensitive period cycle of their life, you need to take advantage and socialize your puppy without having the fear of vaccinations. Okay? Because the result of this study was that indicated that puppies 16 weeks of age or younger that were vaccinated at least once and attended socialization classes were at no greater risk of contracting parvovirus than puppies that did not attend the class. So the old thinking, the old understanding is that oh, you shouldn't be doing. But now new studies have shown that the risks of exposing your puppy to a class or an environment or other situation is greater, if not because of vaccination, but behavioral issues that we need to be concerned of. So don't worry about vaccination. Your puppy is getting vaccinated anyways. In every country, every province, every city, every district, every uh, state, every country overall, every everybody has a different bylaw and different way of looking at it. So because of that, don't worry about what the bylaws are in your area. Just go ahead and start exposing your puppy to other situations, and socialize your puppy. Because what happens is, if you don't do it, you're going to cause more harm behavior wise than health wise. Health wise, don't worry. So between the 4 weeks and 8 weeks, they learn to interact with their other puppies. If this is very sensitive period, and it's very important for you to understand this and expose your puppy, because between the 4 and 8 weeks, they are learning to interact with other dogs. You have to you have to allow your puppy to interact with other dogs. Otherwise, they don't learn the doggy language. It's very important for your dog to learn how to communicate to other dogs and learn the doggy language. And between 5 weeks and 10 weeks, they tend to develop the skills necessary to interact with humans. So again, you have to understand this and allow your puppy to interact with humans, so they can learn to interact with humans and not be afraid of humans as well. And also, other thing is, between 5 and 16 weeks, they're most open to investigating new environments and stimuli. Puppies not given a full range of socialization opportunities by about 10 weeks can develop a fear of the unfamiliar. So imagine those puppies who don't get the chance to be exposed to everything that they're supposed to, and then the dog turns, I don't know, a year old, 2 year old, and you see that your dog has behavioral issues, is afraid, is reacting to certain things, reacting to dogs, reacting to people, reacting to this and that. And you're wondering, why is it that my dog is reacting, right? And it all goes back to basically the puppy. And many dog owners, many puppy owners, when they get a puppy, they don't do the right thing. They don't do everything that they're supposed to. They do everything wrong, right? And that causes a lot of things to go wrong. And in near future, your dog starts developing unwanted behavior, and you're wondering, why is it that my dog is doing this? It all goes back to the time that they were puppies and you didn't allow your puppy to socialize. So basically, socialization means exposing your puppy to as many new positive experiences. Positive experiences is very important. People, animal, dogs, environments, and other strange stimuli. For example, bus, cars, lawnmowers, broom, things like that. As much as possible, and should engage all their senses through exposing to the sight, sound, and smells of daily life. Again, remember, because they're developing still, they're not fully developed, they're trying to figure out life that is surrounding them by their senses. So you have to make sure that their senses, as they're working, is more working towards positive experiences. And if you don't do it, the 5 common characteristics of that dogs who are not, or puppies who haven't been socialized properly, are that they become fearful, you have a difficult time to handle them. They're noise sensitive. They're anxious around other dogs and other people, and they're frightened of going and doing things with you or around you. So it's very important to socialize your dog, because what happens is, I come across a lot of cases that people say, my dog is reactive to this or doing that. What is wrong with my dog? And main common issue is when your dog was puppy, whether you had your puppy since very young, or you adopted your puppy or your dog when it was very young. There was that period of uh, uh, 4 weeks, and between 4 weeks and 4 months, you either were not around to properly socialize your puppy, or the breeder didn't socialize your puppy properly, or your puppy was born in puppy mill, therefore didn't get socialized properly, but was sold to you as a regular puppy, or uh, overall, in some form of or another, your puppy didn't have the opportunity to properly be socialized when it was puppy. So most of bad behaviors are developed when they're puppies. So this is why it is hard to undo a behavior that has been developed long time ago in your puppy's age now when it's older. So I'll give you an example. For example, myself, I adopted Annie when she was, what age was exactly that I adopted? We don't know exactly, because we adopted her, so we don't know exactly what age she was and what age exactly we adopted her. So she has some fear related issues, right? So when we go back to this slide, fearful, she is one of these cases. She is a dog who has some fearful issues. She hears strange noises, she reacts to them. She sees strange things, she reacts to them. She wants to run away, right? Fearful. So because I didn't have her from very young age, and she came to me at older age. So I missed that opportunity to do my best to provide socialization for her. Whoever had her before me, they didn't take the right step. They didn't do a good job, and they didn't socialize her properly. Because what they did, because she was cute, they did focus on affection and care, and they didn't do much of socialization. And of course, they didn't do any form of training with her because she was puppy and young, and they probably did some exercise with her. So they messed up this formula with her when before I adopted her. So I adopted her about when she was about 3 months old. So 3 months old, 3 to 4 months old, around there, I adopted her. So I missed the train, the fear period, right? Let me show you. Which slide was it? This, yes. I missed the boat. I missed the train, the fear cycle period. I missed it. So a lot of unwanted behaviors, developed during that time before I adopted her. And she is a sensitive dog, right? She's a very not very, but she is a sensitive dog. She's getting better and better at it, and I'm working on it. So what happens when when you miss the boat, or you don't do the right thing at that time, at that age that the fear cycle is developing, and you miss the boat, and you mess up, or somebody else messes up, and you miss the boat. What happens is that behavior becomes a learned behavior. I say usually that behavior, whatever it is, it becomes tattooed in their brain. And once it becomes tattooed in their brain, you can't remove it. It's tattooed. It's there for life. Unfortunately, you can't remove that behavior out of that dog. What you can do instead is manage it and control it and work on it to the point that you phase it out completely, or you just slowly phase it out to the point that it's manageable. The behavior is not going to completely go away. The behavior, that unwanted behavior is going to be still there, but you may be able to either control it, or you may be able to phase it out slowly, right? Phase it out in a way that it's not as bad as it was before. So my challenge with Annie, for example, is that I'm still working on it, and I still want to make sure that she's not fearful of things. But what I have done with her is that from the day that I got her, I started working on her, and I started improving her social skills to the point that now she's an ambassador for my doggy playcare. So I have a doggy playcare, and she's been exposed to different variety of dogs and stimuli, to the point that she's now an ambassador of our doggy playcare. She plays with other puppies, teaches them how to be social, how to learn to behave manners properly. And I'm going to show you an example. So yes, this was yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday. And Annie was playing with a beagle puppy. One of my local students, a beagle puppy. Annie is playing with her, and isn't that cute? First of all, isn't that cute? Second of all, you see that she's helping now. She's helping other dogs. At first, she needed help, so I helped her. Now she's phasing out that fearful behavior that she has, and she's starting to help other dogs. Now I'm working on her outdoors as well, to the point that I am able to off-leash her, but to the point that I can off-leash her and be a little bit more comfortable to have her off-leash, so she can go and have fun with the environment and other dogs and people, or whoever, whatever happens around, so she can have fun. So here's another example of Annie in making friends at the park. Annie, no. Isn't that fun? So, by the way, she went in an area that she shouldn't have gone, and I called her. The way I call is Annie, no, and she corrects herself and comes out. So she's having fun. You see, she's having fun in an outdoor environment. Is not focused on the fear triggers that she had. So she's able to have fun off leash. If If you have a dog who's fearful, who's sensitive, who's not reliable, I highly suggest you not to off leash your dog, because if your dog is one of those and something triggers her fear stimuli, most of the time what happens, dogs get scared and they take off. So when I took her to the trail and she started having fun, she's having fun with dogs and environment, I make sure that she's not in that sensitive state of mind. She's not scared of things. She's not paying attention to the environment. You know, if your dog is one of those dogs that is constantly looking around and paying attention, I highly suggest you not to off leash that dog. Work on training, work on socialization to bring that confidence level up to the point that it's manageable. It's not all over the place. If your puppy or your dog is still sensitive and it's having a hard time to focus on you or your other dog, in our case, for example, I have Harvey with me when we go to the trails. I take Harvey, for example, with me, so she's paying attention to Harvey as well. So it's very important for you to make sure that your dog is in good state of mind before you off leash your dog. So now, if you, the other thing is that I want you to understand is in this state of this topic that we're talking about, socialization, you have to provide environment and situation for your dog to be able to learn how to socialize. One of them is doggy daycare. I have a doggy daycare, and I like to allow dogs to come to my doggy daycare and have that opportunity to learn how to socialize, right? Get exposed to new environments, new stimuli, new experiences, so they can learn from other dogs. Now, one thing that I want you to be careful about is if you're selecting a doggy daycare for your puppy or your dog, make sure that that doggy daycare is really safe for your dog to attend to. What I mean by that is make sure somehow you get the feel of the doggy daycare that your dog is not going there and being mixed with all kinds of dogs who are not under control, and they may harm your dog. The daycare owners probably, they're not paying attention to those sensitive things that you should be aware of. And if your dog is being exposed to other dogs who are not well behaved, that experience is not going to help your dog to learn good manners or be in a positive environment. So therefore, they're going to have bad experiences, and they're going to have negative, you're going to have a negative outcome out of that opportunity that you're offering your dog to go to doggy daycare. So somehow we have to figure out if that doggy daycare is managed properly. One tip that I have is, this is my personal experience, make sure the doggy daycare that you're selecting is operated by the owner of the doggy daycare. Like myself, I run and operate my own doggy daycare, so everything is under my control. I can completely control the environment, the dogs who are coming in doggy daycare, and everything. So most of the people who come to my doggy daycare, they're shocked in a way that, is this a really doggy daycare? Because first of all, it doesn't smell like a doggy daycare. It doesn't sound like a doggy daycare. It doesn't feel like a doggy daycare. There are days that there are about 20 dogs in there. You can't tell. You can't tell it's a doggy daycare because it smells good. Doesn't smell bad like most doggy daycares do. It doesn't sound like a doggy daycare. The dogs are not barking, going crazy all the time. and it doesn't feel like doggy daycare because the dogs are in good state of mind. So selecting the right doggy daycare is very important. When doggy daycare is operated and run by staff, obviously staff don't care about the condition of the daycare, so it's not quality, it's not in good quality. That's my personal opinion. Okay, it's not in good quality. I have in the past I have been needing doggy daycare slash boarding place for my own dogs to leave them in that environment so I could go and travel other places. And I did my research. Everywhere I was going, the smell was just unbearable. Smell of, most front space of the doggy daycares are well taken care of. The back is just unbearable. But even some doggy daycares in front, that you can smell everything, and it's horrible. You can tell the quality of that doggy daycare. If you can smell it, get out of there. If the place is nice and clean and it doesn't smell like cleaning products, it shouldn't be smelling like a urine, and also it shouldn't be smelling like a cleaning products. It should be smelling neutral. If you smell good there, that's a good sign. Move on and move forward and figure out if that's the environment is good now, right? So that's number one tip that I have. Make sure the doggy daycare is run by a dog, the owner of the business. They tend to take care of the place. So for example, I'm running and operating my own doggy daycare. I don't want to work in a place that is stinking. I don't want to work in a place that is driving me crazy, barking all day. So I manage and control the environment, and I'm very selective about the dogs that I bring in, right? They are fully evaluated, so they're not overly excited, overly aggressive. They're well-mannered dogs. I evaluate them. Harvey and Annie evaluate the dogs first. They tell me their opinion. They interview the dogs. They tell me their opinion, and based on their opinion, I still try them a few days in our daycare. If I feel comfortable, I'll accept them. If I don't, I refuse them, because I want to make sure the dogs that are here are well behaved. So every other dog that comes in and needs socialization and needs help can be helped and can be benefiting from this environment. But if you go to a doggy daycare that they say, oh, we have over 100 dogs, and it's a big place and it's good running place, and they're bragging about big place, big number of dogs, that's not a good thing either. You don't want your dog to be involved with hundreds of dogs. That's very stressful. That's too much for any dog, right? To be competing with 100 other dogs is not a good thing. That's not a good environment to take your dog and hope that your dog is going to be socializing. No, just because they have hundreds of dogs and they're 100 square feet, to, 1,000 or 3,000, 5,000 square feet doesn't mean that they're good. Don't select the doggy daycare that you're selecting with the hypes. Select the environment that is ideal for your dog or your puppy to be involved and socializing, to be socializing and benefit from that environment. Obviously, most dog daycares are there to take care of a need that, which is people go to work these days and they need to drop off their dog somewhere and have them taken care of. Yes, but again, if you're still trying to find a place that is more of socialization, you want to get socialization from your dog, the benefits of socialization, then make sure that you're choosing the right environment. And the other thing is the dog parks, right? Should you take your dog to dog park or not? And I have a video that I want to share with you, and which explains the rules of dog park. Let's watch that
next video. So one of the first things that you have to be aware of when it comes to dogs and dog parks is that dog parks are not a place for you to take your dog to drain your are social or your dog is not your dog to drain your dog's energy. Dog parks are where social dogs gather to have fun. Now, if you're not sure if those dogs at the park are social or your dog is not social, obviously it's not a place to go and expose your dog and risk the danger of your dog being in danger or endangering other dogs if your dog is one of those dogs who's not very social with other dogs. Basically, dog parks are where dogs practice social skills. It's not where they actually learn, is actually where they practice it. One of the biggest mistakes that I see dog owners make is that they take their dogs to the dog park straight from home in order to get their dog to exercise and get tired and get stimulated. That's in general not a good idea. If your dog is super excited, super pent up with energy, and has very bad social skills or not a very good social skills, if you put your dog in that environment, things can go wrong. I highly suggest to walk your dog first to bring that energy level down a little bit, and also work on your dog's leash walking skills before you take your dog to the dog park. So let's say if you want to exercise your dog for an hour, I would say half an hour walk your dog, and then the rest of that allow your dog to socialize and also exercise at the dog park. Believe it or not, most of the bad experiences that dog owners experience at dog parks because their dogs or dogs get into fight is because most dogs are super excited, super hyper. Their energy level is very high. And when you put dogs who have high energy and super excited in one spot, they will do things that are not proper. So that will build the environment or the situation for dogs to do the wrong thing and probably get into fight because they are either annoying the other dogs or getting annoyed. So the other tip that I have is before you get into the dog park, pause, relax, and check the environment and the energy level of the dogs. Are they very hyper? Are dogs running around like maniacs? Are there dogs who are not happy to be in that park? If you see those signs, I highly suggest you not to enter the park. Maybe try a different time or avoid entering that park on that day. But if you feel that the energy of the park and the dogs is low and in the same level as your dog's energy, then enter and let your dog socialize and let them figure out if they want to play and run around or just hang out together. Dogs, they don't have to run around in order to socialize or get stimulated. Just that mental stimulation that they get at dog park, just sniffing around, sniffing other dogs, greeting other dogs, hanging out with other dogs is stimulating enough. The other tip and suggestion that I have is don't take your dog's favorite toy to dog park to play with your dog. As I said, this is an environment that dogs come to socialize. So if your dog is not one of those dogs who doesn't like to be socializing with other dogs, especially if it has favorite toy, when you take your dog with its favorite toy to the dog park, you're actually inviting other dogs to come and play with your dog and your dog's toy, which in most cases could be dangerous and also could be preparation for a dog fight. Just keep it for a private use at home or whenever or wherever that there are no other dogs and you can play with your dog privately. Your dog's favorite toy can create competition among dogs or make your dog to be resource guarding, which is not healthy. So in general, you want to make sure that the environment that you're exposing your dog is safe and secure and calm and friendly. And just because you're going to a dog park, it doesn't mean that all the dogs there are well behaved, well trained, and calm. Make sure that you test the energy of the park before entering the park.
Information there, right? So it's very important to know exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. So dog park, just for example, it's dog park. It doesn't mean that it's a good place, right? You have to make sure that it's in a safe environment. And that would be it. That would be the tip to actually understand that socialization is very important to your dog. So doggy daycare is a good environment to, if you find the right doggy daycare, it's a good environment to socialize your dog. Dog parks are a good place to socialize your dog if your dog, or if the park is good and if your dog feels comfortable to be in that environment. Now, the other tip that I have is, especially in this day and age, because of the social distancing and all that, make sure that if you're walking your dog and your focus is on socialization, your dog doesn't have to really, be face to face with other dogs or with humans. This itself, the fact that a dog is just standing by me, it's a socialization. It's a good thing. So the dog is actually socializing. It's standing by me and is having a positive experience because nothing bad is happening when it's standing by me. So I, as a dog owner myself and as a human being, I don't have to be going, oh my goodness, what a cutie. I don't have to be interacting with dog physically in order for it to count as socialization. Just the fact that this dog is sniffing me and is having a good positive experience, that itself is a good form of socialization. So make sure that you're socializing your dog every day. It's part of your daily task. Again, make sure that you are providing your dog's daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection, and you will have a great result in being successful in socializing your dog. So I think that's all I have for today.
If you are interested in learning the negative effects of training dogs using treats or food and learn how to train your dog using play and praise as a reward system, make sure to visit sarodogtraining.com.
Yes, so if you are interested in learning how to train your dog without the use of treats or food, make sure to visit my website, sarodogtraining.com, and join one of my online courses. For example, the functional dog training is available now for you to register and get started in learning how to train your dog and get great results without the use of treats, and learn how to train your dog with using play and praise instead of treats or food. And there are a couple of comments just going to quickly go through them. That one is from Margasa. I'll write you so many things to share and ask. Thank you. Yes, if you have a lot of issues with your dog, yeah, make sure to send me an email, and I'll consider helping you that way. Yes. Joe is saying, I purchased a 3-year-old beagle who was raised with other beagles and field dogs. Consequently, she has had next to no socializing. She is very shy indoor and better outside and at the dog park. So what that means is that, yes, this is a good example of a dog who's been socialized in certain environment, but not all environments, right? So your task is at the moment, and as a dog owner, I would say, who has adopted, you're saying you purchased, but basically you adopted a 3-year-old beagle. So basically your task should be to help this dog to open up a lot more avenues to socializing in different environment. Your task should be that every day you should be exposing this beagle to as many situations and conditions as you can to the point that your beagle is more comfortable, for example, with people indoors or indoor in general, than, let's say, today. So I would say start planning now, work on a long term, say, okay, for the next year, this is what I'm going to do, right? This is the plan. I want to change my beagle's outcome from what it is today to at least 10% better than today, right? Your goal, let's say, set up 10% goal. If you could achieve that, imagine what else you can do with this beagle. So your goal should be to work on this beagle every day to the point that in a year, for example, you have a dog who's much more comfortable indoors and with indoor people indoors. So yeah, work on it. Don't give up. Don't just say, "Oh, it's done. That's it. I give up." Just work on it. Dog park is the only place she's really happy. 5 months and she's improving, but no open to my friends, no affectionate at all. Waiting for her to come around. Oh, okay. So don't wait. Help her. Don't expect her to change on her own. She needs a a helping hand. And the way you help her is by providing her daily 5 essential needs. This is going to be your Bible, in a way. Work on this. Work on providing your beagle's daily 5 essential needs, which includes socialization. So this is how this formula will help you. So if you provide proper amount of exercise for this beagle, and if you want to learn what are the proper types and proper amount and proper type of exercise, watch my previous 2 live videos before this. I talked about exercise in depth in there. So provide proper amount of exercise and proper form of exercise for this beagle. Then also you need to focus on training your beagle every day. At least something, you have to do something with your beagle. Some form of mental stimulation. You have to provide some form of training with this beagle. Your beagle has to learn something every day. Training is a great form of mental stimulation and also helping a dog to learn a new language and understand exactly what to do with your help. So training is also opening up a communication system between you and your dog. So also, if you want to learn more in depth about training, watch my previous live video. We went in depth there. Now, once you provide a good amount of exercise and training, then you can use these two to help your beagle to socialize, right? with the help of proper amount of exercise and proper form of training, you will be able to help your beagle to socialize. So for example, I'll give you an example so you have a better understanding of what that means to put it into action. So if I exercise my beagle 2 half an hours a day, that's good enough. I exercise physically my beagle for two half an hours a day. Good, we've done that. Let's do some training. Let me teach my dog to sit and stay 100% to the point that my beagle sits and stays 100%, for example. So as soon as I say Rover sit, Rover sits. I say Rover stay, Rover stays, right? No questions about it, right? She does, the beagle does it. She does it exactly. When you say sit, she sits. When you say stay, she stays. She doesn't move a muscle. That would be your goal. Once you achieve that goal, now if there is a stranger at your home and somebody comes in and wants to pet your dog, your beagle, you say, Rover, sit and stay. Your beagle shouldn't move a muscle, so that person now can approach your dog, your beagle, right? Because your beagle is under control now. Your beagle is on the command of stay, don't move. So your beagle doesn't move no matter what happens, even if somebody pets the beagle, your beagle. So now you're teaching your beagle that, yes, I am in control. Let me tell you what to do in this case that you are scared of this person. Watch what I'm going to ask you to do, which is stay and let this person pet you. Nothing bad happens if that happens. I am helping you. I will help you. Don't worry. Everything is going to be fine. This person is not going to harm you. And if you do that, the mindset of your dog is going to change completely. That is why it's important to provide proper amount of exercise, training, and use all those to socialize your dog, and then provide proper amount of care and then affection. It's very important to do it in proper order, in this order, rather than whatever, right? So for example, if your beagle is scared of people and this person, a stranger, comes and, oh, I want to help, I want to love you, it's okay, affection, let me share affection. Your beagle, boom, it's going to take off, right? Because you approach this situation with affection. And affection is not the solution at the moment. The solution at the moment is exercise, training, socialization, and then proper care, and then affection. If your beagle is exercised properly that day, has been trained properly that day, has been socializing properly, and then allowed the person to pet it, right? Allowed it to pet, and you're now providing care, good. And then now you're going to properly share affection. Good. Yes. Now you're sharing affection at the right state of mind, the right mindset. Does that make sense? If you do it that way, you will have better success in achieving your outcome that you're visioning. By just not doing around and hoping that the dog is going to change or come around, that's a wishful thinking. Not dogs, they don't change that way. They need our help. They need our ways to come up with our hope, our help to come up with ways to solve it. If you just let it be, not much is going to happen. Okay? All right. So thank you very much for everybody for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this live show. And if you still have questions, leave those questions in the comments area. And definitely, if you want to learn more,
if you want to learn the negative effects of treat training which causes your dog to develop bad behaviors and health issues, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notified about our next video.
And until next time, have fun with your dog.